Sometimes you just have one of them days when you look at your fragrances and you think to yourself, it's time to break out one of the big boys. And today's one of those days. So today's scent of the day is a niche fragrance from the house of Bond No. 9. This is Bleecker Street, and to find out my thoughts on this one, stay tuned to Mags Frags. Yes, hello again everybody and welcome to another episode of Mags Frags. I'm Paul and this is day 109 of my Fragrance 365 project, where I give my thoughts on a different fragrance every day for a whole year. Today's scent of the day is Bleecker Street from the house of Bond No. 9, which is an oriental woody fragrance and was launched back in 2005. If you are unfamiliar with the Bond No. 9 brand and their fragrances, they're all kind of named after streets and landmarks within the New York area and come in these really funky, colourful and star-shaped bottles. Bleecker Street is probably the most iconic and well-known fragrance from this house, and it's definitely the most hyped and talked about fragrance within the fragrance community by reviewers and collectors. Yeah, the presentation on this one is on another level, and it starts with the box, which is fairly big, and it's more like what you get with a gift set rather than a single bottle. There's a clear plastic sleeve that goes on the outside of the box, but it's a real fight to remove it, so I'm not even going to attempt to do it on this video. But then the box comes in a purple and green colourway with like golden branding on the front, and then we've got this like golden strip that runs through the centre there. The lid comes off, got to be careful here because the bottle can just jump out. But yeah, the lid comes away and it reveals the fragrance, which is kind of mounted in this golden cardboard surround. You normally get a leaflet with the Bond No. 9 fragrances. It kind of tells you all about the fragrances and whereabouts in New York that they're from. But I don't know for the life of me know where I've put that, so I haven't got that with me today. The bottle looks great, and if you're looking for something to liven up your collection, then just take a look at that. It comes in this star-shaped design, and it's finished in a bright green and purple colourway with this kaleidoscope-style pattern detailing on the front. Although this is not necessarily the front because it's actually exactly the same on the other side. It's kind of a mirror image of the front. You get this really nice and attractive plastic click-on cap in like a purpley colour, and again, it's just it feels really nice. It's good quality, and it really clicks onto the cap. But I still wouldn't really risk picking it up because the bottle's very, very heavy on this one. The atomizer is finished in gold and it sprays a really nice decent amount of juice. And I think in terms of the presentation of Bond No. 9 fragrances, these are amongst the most eye-catching and instant recognisable bottles that you'll ever see. I think they look really cool and quirky. So in terms of a presentation, I'd probably give this one a 10 out of 10. Yeah, the top notes in this are violet leaf, blueberry, cassis and thyme. In the heart we've got cedar, jasmine and cinnamon, and in the base there's oakmoss, suade, patchouli, amber, vanilla and caramel. Yeah, so this opens up very bright and fresh with a sharp and fairly bitter, like a wild berry kind of accord, with the blueberry combining with the cassis. This is joined by an intense green aroma, and it's this green like grass accord that's the central component to the composition. I would say that it reminds me of a bit of a weird mixture of green Irish tweed with also a bit of ultraviolet by Paco Rabanne, but that's just kind of at the beginning. So if you kind of like if you stripped out all the sweetness from ultraviolet and you layer it with a little bit of green Irish tweed, you're kind of on the lines of what you get from this in the opening and kind of through into the dry down. The opening may be a bit loud and aggressive for some people because of that sharpness, and it's also fair to say that it's fairly synthetic for the first few minutes. However, once it settles down, it's a very pleasant smell with a slight fruitiness mixed with a green herbal scent profile. As you get deeper into the dry down, it starts to get much more earthy. Not only do you get that green, fresh cut grass smell, but now you can actually smell the damp soil too. There's also some woodiness in there, which I don't know if anyone else has picked up on, but I get a slight similarity to the far dry down of like the woody batches of Aventus. The Patchouli and the Oakmoss are major players in the dry down, and although there's vanilla, caramel, amber and suede notes in the base, I don't get much in the way of sweetness at any point in this fragrance. It's 50% green grass, 20% wild berry, and I would say 30% woody. This is a daytime fragrance that would be perfect in either the spring or autumn seasons. You could wear it casually or as an office scent, and I think it'd work really well when you're dressed up in like a business suit. It does have a more mature scent character, so I'd say it'd be probably best suited to someone in their late 20s and upwards. And it's also marketed as a unisex fragrance, but I would say it probably leans a bit more masculine, and I think it's a little bit too dirty and earthy, and it's not something that I'd really enjoy smelling on a woman. Overall though, it is a really easy to wear and versatile fragrance that you could wear pretty much all year round without too much trouble. This is an eau de parfum concentration, and the performance isn't as good as I expected it to be honest. But it is decent enough for a fragrance that kind of leans on the fresher side. You get almost a too strong projection for the first 30 minutes or so, then maybe an hour of decent projection after that. But then after that 1.5 hour mark, it kind of sits more close to the skin, where I will catch wafts of it for a further maybe 2 or 3 hours. So all in all, you're probably going to get around about 6 or 7 hours of longevity, which I wouldn't call a disaster, but for an EDP at the price point of £150, I would expect a little bit more from a niche fragrance. Yeah, so if you were to blind buy this with the expectation that you're going to be blown away by it, you'll probably end up being a little bit disappointed. I bought it on the back of watching reviewers saying how awesome it was, and I probably had too much expectation before I kind of went ahead and pulled the trigger on it. Don't get me wrong, it's a very good fragrance. It definitely has niche quality, and it's blended superbly. But it's just not a superstar scent in my opinion, and I think you'd be better off saving for maybe another week or two and picking up an Aventus or Green Irish Tweed, which kind of do a similar job with better performance. You can also pick up Ralph Lauren Purple Label, which apparently is comparable to this, but it's also £50 cheaper, and you get an extra 25 millilitres of juice just for good measure. But I haven't actually tested that one and this one side by side to see how close they are. But with all that said, I'd still give Bleecker Street an all-round score of 8 out of 10. Yes, so once again, that's about it for today's Scent of the Day. Tomorrow I'm going to be coming back down to earth and talking about a much more affordable fragrance that I think is a real beauty, and it's got niche quality. So make sure you tune in tomorrow to see which one I'm talking about. If you found this video useful, please don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. And it's also great to hear your thoughts, your opinions and your critiques on all of these fragrances that feature in this 365 project. So keep your comments coming down in the comments section. So as always, thank you very much once again for tuning in. Stay safe, keep smelling fresh, and I'll see you tomorrow for another one. Bye bye for now.